Yo, Grant here with smoov, back with another primal movement workout. Over the next 30 minutes, I'll be guiding you through a series of movements that are accessible for all levels. So if you're a true beginner, you can do this workout, but I will warn you, just because it is accessible doesn't mean that this workout's easy. So I want you to focus on doing your best and know that you can always come back to this video, go through it again, and every time you go through it, you're gonna get better and better and better. Let's hop into our warm up right now. Setting up with those feet about shoulder width apart, little break in those knees, little break in the hips. We're gonna inhale, swing the arms up, exhale, swing the arms down. Getting a nice little pulse through the body. Putting pressure through those feet, feeling that connection work its way up through the legs, into the pelvis, up through the torso, and then keeping those eyes up. Finding a nice little swivel through those shoulders. So as you swing those arms up, those palms are gonna face up, thumbs out. And then as you swing those arms down, those thumbs are gonna face in. So, feeling that rotation, waking things up. Next, we're gonna take it into the cross crawl march. So I'm gonna bring my arms above the head and I'm going to exhale, bringing that wrist to my thigh or knee. Inhale, standing tall. So this is a good starting point. If you want to add a little bit more movement, rotation, and crunch, you can drive that elbow down towards the knee. Focusing on driving through the planted leg so we can actively flex through the other leg, through the hip. And then I want you to focus on good positioning through that rib cage and pelvis. So sometimes we can kind of get overly extended here with the arm position. And we also might want to round here. Good posture, length, but also good connection between that rib cage and pelvis. Next up, we're gonna take it into wrist rolls. So clap those hands together, interlace the fingers. And then I like to go forearms together, but really up to you. We're just gonna roll one wrist over the other. So I'm creating this nice little circle. Maybe it feels a little bit more like a figure eight, but rolling those wrists, doing what feels good. Breathe in. All right, halfway point, we're gonna reverse. So now I'm rolling those wrists back towards me. Nice little breather here from the other stuff in the warm up. Continuing to wake up the body with each breath. Setting up for this lateral lunge flow. So I'm gonna lunge over to the left. I'm gonna keep the door closed. So my feet are pointing this direction. Notice I'm chopping back into the hips. I'm gonna tap the inside of my left foot, passing back through center, and then right into the other side. So, finding those hips. Notice that loading of the back side. And then I also want to feel this load through that stretching inner thigh, and then the ability to rebound back through center. You can add that reach with the other arm just to kind of facilitate a little bit more rotation, making sure we're feeling that originate through the hips and pelvis. Okay, and then lastly, we're gonna take it into the cheese squat. So I'm gonna look with my eyes on the horizon, exhale, pressing out, sinking into whatever squat's feeling good in the warm up right now, and then inhale, pull the hands back, and then stand tall. So, Using this as an opportunity to connect to the rhythm of your breath. And maybe allowing that breath cycle to get a little longer as you sink a little bit deeper into your squat. Back to that arm swing, finding that little hinge, finding that swivel through the shoulders, and a nice pulse through the body. Exhale on the way down, inhale on the way up. We want that blood pumping. We want the breath opening up the posture and the tissues of the body. And we want to start to feel more of that entire full body connection with each rep. Connecting through that ground, feeling that connection work its way up through the body. Cross crawl march, arms above the head, finding that nice rib cage position. And then exhale, either that wrist to knee or elbow to knee. Driving that foot through the ground. Activating those hips. One's an extension, one's in flexion. It may be harder for you to go quicker. Maybe it'd be more challenging to really slow things down. Eyes forward. Back to those wrist rolls. Clasping those wrists together. Maybe I can show you a little bit closer here. Rolling those wrists over each other. If this is feeling confident and comfortable for you, what you can do is start to play with different angles. So I can bring my wrists out a little bit more in front of me, maybe up above the head a little bit more. Again, this is something you don't have to do. Let's go ahead and reverse directions. But let's say you've got a little experience, things are feeling good. Maybe you've watched this video several times through. Add some variation to it, right? How can I continue to be creative within the structure of this workout? Awesome. Feel free to shake those hands out a little bit. We're taking it into that lateral lunge. So if you don't have enough room, I should have mentioned this first, you can just stick to one side and I'll let you know at that halfway point if we're feeling good, we have enough room to really stretch out, go through the alternating. I find this gets a lot more of the heart rate up, blood pumping, all that good stuff. That's halfway point. If you need to switch sides, and focus on loading through those hips. That's going to be the back side of your body, also the inner thigh. I want to feel that inner thigh stretch, and then I can come back. Stretch, shorten, stretch, shorten. All right, we're almost there. We got the cheese squat, finishing up. Exhale, sinking down. Inhale, pulling and standing tall. My heart rate is up. The body heat is up. This is an opportunity to Tap into that, slow the rhythm down, and focus on what's necessary in this movement. So I don't have to try super hard. What does it feel like to lower down into my squat with just the right amount of effort, and then stand tall through it as well. Whew. All right, that is our warm up. Take a little breather as I review the workout so you know what you're doing, and then we'll get into it.
We'll be hitting 4 moves in this workout: the hinge to monkey rock, the cross body punch, iso cat, and the crab booty scoot. I'll give you the option to progress the movements throughout the 3 rounds if you find yourself wanting more of a challenge. We'll be working for 60 seconds and resting for 30 seconds in between exercises. Do your best to stay moving throughout the full work period, but if you need more rest, take it. This is your workout, so listen to your body and modify as needed. Be sure to hang around for the finisher and cool down for some additional strength and mobility work at the end. That's the rundown. We're ready to roll.
Starting off with that hinge to monkey rock, we're gonna set up with those feet about shoulder width apart, feet pointing forward, and then starting that movement by chopping the hips back, reaching the hands forward, rolling through the hands, sensing the ground. And if you can touch those knees to the ground, great. If not, don't worry about it. And then we're gonna pull back through the hips. Find the glutes, find the hamstrings, and then stand tall. Chop those hips back, taking your time, just getting a feel for the movement this first round through. And notice that weight shift, right? I'm going from my feet, my legs, into my hands, putting more weight through the upper body. The core starts to turn on a little bit more. And then as I press back, I find the hips and feel the support there. Okay, standing tall, we're taking that rest, but feel free to keep it moving, especially in this first round. You know, we're taking things easy, getting to know each of the movements. We want to keep that body moving. Use this period to get a little bit of extra balance, a little extra work in. If you're feeling bored, it's all good. Get creative through this process. All right, setting up, we're gonna go into the cross body punch. A little bit wider with the feet, bending into the knees. We want to establish a good base here. I'm going to answer 2 telephones here. Hopefully I don't hit the mic too much. I'm going to throw a punch, and then I'm going to throw the other punch. Now, as I do this, I want to pull back with one shoulder as I reach through the other, creating a little bit of rotation, and then I can find a nice flow with those punches. Is this going to win you a fight? Probably not. Unless somebody really doesn't know what they're doing. Not like we do either, but we'll keep it going. But I do want you to feel this rotational aspect, right? My base is solid, but I'm feeling this rotation through the heart center. And right here is really nice. I can look at the camera, I can look at the light, and I can throw my strikes there. So finding something to punch at or punch through, it's gonna give you some nice context. Keep it going. Rest. Same thing, bouncing around. If you want to keep it going, boom, boom, feel free to do that. Again, using these rest periods for what you need. I just want you to stay moving. It literally could just be kind of moving around your space. Breathe in, catching your breath. All right, next thing, we're gonna pop down on the ground. Take it into the iso cat. Got my knees underneath my hips, my wrists underneath my shoulders. I'm going to drive through all 4 contact points, lifting the knees about 1 inch off the ground. If they come a little higher, that's fine, but I want you to focus on your breathing here. So driving through the contact points, breathing into the torso. And one thing when we get into these isometrics, you can't hide. You can't hide in your movement. You've really got to acknowledge, feel, and sense your body. So breathe into that. Big expansive inhales into the rib cage. If you notice your head starts to come forward and down a little bit, just bring it a couple feet in front of your hands. Lengthening through the crown of the head, lengthening through the tail. All right, go ahead and rest there. We'll stand it up. Keep it moving, grooving, do whatever you need to do. Maybe those arms need to wiggle out a little bit more. All right, we're gonna get back down on the ground for the crab booty scoot. This is one of my favorites. Stay in it, all right? I'm gonna drive through those hands, extend through the heart here a little bit, and then I'm going to slide my butt towards my heels. Then I'm gonna reach my heels out, reach my hands here, replace. So if I'm scooting forward, my legs, well, right now my legs are pushing as my arms pull. When I'm moving forward, it's the reverse, right? Those hamstrings shorten, I pull myself, and then I'm pressing through the upper body. I wanna make sure I'm allowing the rib cage to move, but I want you to think deep armpits. So I'm feeling nice and long side bodies. I'm not hunching over a bunch, trying to brace the core. I'm breathing and allowing my interaction with the ground to continue to activate everything. Focus on that pull forward through the legs. As you're moving back, pressing through those legs, pulling through the upper body. Okay, so round one in the books. Nice work. We've got that hinge to monkey rock next. Now, how to progress this? I'll give you a few options. This round, you can just pick up the tempo a little bit. Focus on getting a few more reps as you go through it. Still focusing on those details, right? Loading the hips, shifting the weight forward, feeling that core activate, upper body activate. Let's get to work. Chopping those hips back, rocking forward, pulling back, standing tall. If you're feeling confident, adding a little bit more tempo to this move. Keep breathing, right? We don't want to be holding our breath. If we can move with good connection through the body as the breath travels through the body, that's efficient, and it's something that's going to be there even when things get tough, even when we get tired. So we want to continue to build that. Keep the breath moving. Okay, awesome. Standing up, we got that goofy crossbody punch. All right, let's break it down here a little bit. We're not gonna start for another 20 seconds, but you can start to feel into this, okay? Rooting through the ground. As you start to feel more confident, a little bit more pace, throw that punch, throw it through your target. Sinking down, answering two phones. And keep that hand up. Let's get to work. Throw, keep that hand up, and then switch. As you're feeling more confident, that breath is gonna wanna move. So exhale as you punch, inhale quickly in the center. So keep moving, stay in it. You determine that intensity. Getting a little ahead of myself here. Next round, I'll show you some more stuff. And rest. Whew, all right. I told you, you might have been skeptical first round, but blood's pumping, breathing a little heavy. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's just me. All right, popping back down into that cat position. This time we're gonna add single limb lifts. So if you wanna stay with that base, that's fine. Gonna elevate into that cat position, and I'm just gonna lift this right foot, hold for a moment, drive through the other 3 contact points, bring it back down. Lift the left foot, maintain that position, drive through the contact points, come back down. Keep that breath going, I have to talk. Lifting that right hand, holding for a second, driving through those 3 contact points. Come back down, same thing, left hand, come back down. Let's see if we can go through it one more time. So right foot lifts, hold, breathe. Come down, left foot lift, drive through, breathe. Come back down, right hand, drive through, hold, breathe. Down, left hand lift. Let's just go ahead and contact through all 4 limbs. Breathe for the last 10 seconds. And rest. Woo! I'm having fun. Are you? I sure hope so. Stand it up, shake those legs out. We got that crab booty scoot next. Okay, so coming down, let me just go through some details. I like the fingertips pointing out. Notice I'm not puffing my chest out. I'm driving through the ground to create extension, and then from that place, that's where I'm operating from. Let's get to work. Been a little chatty. We ate into the work period, so you're not gonna get as much rest after this one. Staying engaged, thinking deep armpits, feeling deep armpits. So drive through those hands, feeling those arms lengthen, but also feel the side body continuing to pull up into the armpits. Eyes on the horizon. Keep it rolling. Few more seconds. Like I said, your guide is a little chatty, so. All right, let's go ahead and rest there. Nice work. Stand up. Keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving. All right, hinge to monkey rock. So, if you want to progress, look up. If not, let's get to work. So, chopping those hips back. I could go down with 2 hands. I could also go down with 1 in the center. I don't have to lower all the way down. I could pull back through the hips, stand tall, switch over to the other side. Reaching forward, tap the knees down, coming up. So, I'll show you from the front. I'm reaching in the center. It's gonna give me more of that tripod base where I can feel nice and balanced through my hips, but recognize I still gotta find that support through the back side of my body. So I chop back, loading, so everything starts to integrate, and my arm, my wrist doesn't have to do all the work in supporting me. If this is too tough, again, well, we're out of time on that one. All right, sweet. Whew. Crossbody punch. So we've got like the jab going on, jab cross deal, right? Where I'm boom, boom. Sorry, I'm here. Now, if you're feeling like you want to throw some haymakers, really go for it, boom. Make sure we keep that face protected, but we can start to throw with a little more rotation. Let's get to work. So I'm punching here, punching through my target with authority. And maybe I want to start to throw that hook. You can always alternate, play around with it. Throw those hands. Getting that breath. Keep working. Ooh. Can at least feel like a martial artist. All right, down on the ground, we got that cat. Again, if you want to stick with the base move, stick with the single limb lift, that's fine. We're now going to go contralateral, so opposite hand and foot. I'm dropping down. Lifting up, activating that cat, and I'm going to lift left hand, right foot. Find that balance, drive through the contact points, breathe, replacing down. Hold, breathe, replacing down. So opposite hand and foot. Now when you lose 2 contact points, it's easy to think about those. Focus on feeling the pressure down through the limbs that are contacting the ground. Wobbles, shakes, all part of the process. It's your body learning, embrace it. Oh man, I told you, it's probably stuff you can do, but you can hear me. I've been doing this stuff for a long time. I still get tired. I still get tired. I love it. All right, coming back down. We got that booty scoot. Driving through those hands. Finding the subtle extension through the sternum. And then embracing that stretch through the chest. That pull through the hamstrings. And then reversing. If you want a little bit more work, I really like the slide. You might have been doing this depending on what surface you're on anyway, but you can lift up in place. Lift up in place. So it's going to require maybe a little bit more pressure through the 4 contact points to get there. And then of course you can always, if you have the room, lengthen out. It's not a good example, but lengthen out each scoot. I was gonna say stride, but it's a scoot. Finishing strong. Okay, there we go. Wow, 3 rounds, that went by pretty quick. Nice work, take a breather. We got a couple more moves left in the finisher and cool down. Down on the ground for some push-ups. Now, if push-ups are impossible for you, they're really challenging, we're gonna start with something that's super accessible. Do know that it's still tough, it's still challenging. So I'm gonna find this kneeling plank position. Notice that pretty much straight line. I don't necessarily wanna be here, right? But pressing through the hands, so I've got some big back ribs here. And I've got that straight line from my knees up to my shoulders. Now the tendency is to kind of drop down like this. I want you to think falling over or forward. So I drive my elbows back, I fall forward, I get a nice stretch through the chest, And then if I can't press up, that's fine. I'm just gonna unweight, and then I'm just gonna kind of press back into that rocking position. I come forward, lower down slowly, unweight if I need to, press back and forward. And if you're feeling confident, press up. So I want you to focus on good engagement through the torso. All right, not sinking the rib cage to the ground. Also not rounding a ton here. So finding that nice balance and just trusting that pull to the ground and then the press away from the ground. And I'm gonna rest there. Pretty good pump through there. So if those are tough for you, that's fine. That's something you can come back to in this video and see how things are progressing with your push-up. Second move of the finisher and cool down is the starfish to baby. So I'm gonna reach out into a star. Got those 5 points. And then I'm gonna roll over to one side, reaching this arm above the head, coming into this fetal position. That's the exhale. Inhale, opening up, finding that star once again. Exhale. And then inhale to open. Make sure you have enough room. So we want to continue to get heavy through the ground. This shouldn't feel like a ton of effort. The most challenging thing about this is going to be relaxing and trusting your core to move those 4 limbs. So I'm feeling a nice center through my belly button and allowing the ground to support me as I open up through all those limbs. If you find yourself gripping anywhere in the body, gripping through the breath, see if you can relax into it, get heavy into the ground, feel the ground, get to know the ground. Ooh. All right, and then from there, you're just gonna open up into that starfish position, allowing that breath to settle, travel, pulse through the body as you relax and continue to get heavier and heavier into the ground. Sync up with where your breath is at. And then gradually start to relax into it. Slow it down. With each exhale, allowing that stress, that tension to melt away. That is all I've got for you in this primal movement workout. Awesome work. Feel free to hang out in the starfish as long as you want to. I encourage you to take this connection, harmony, relaxation, whatever you're feeling right now, into the next part of your day. Thanks so much for showing up, putting in this work. It's always fun moving with you. If you enjoyed the video, be sure you like it, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time. Stay smooth.